Today we're talking about 5 aspects of holistic parenting. I'm Nicholeen Peck and I teach parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds all over the world through the lens of a principle called self-government. In this video, we're going to talk about what holistic parenting is, what self-government is, and don't forget those 5 aspects. We're going to be talking about 5 things that you need to consider if you're going to be a holistic parent. So what is holistic parenting? Holistic parenting is a focus on the whole child. That's why it would be considered holistic parenting. Holistic medicine is focusing on the whole person, not just one little thing that's gone wrong, right? So when you're talking about parenting the whole child, you're looking at all of the child. You're going to be focusing on the relationships and connecting with that child, as well as teaching the child what they need to improve their behaviors. And I would say teaching is a big thing. Parents who are holistic are usually a little bit less protective of their children. They usually want their child to experience a little bit more around them. They might be focusing a little bit more on adult skills training. These are all very positive things that lead to the maturing of the child. I would say holistic parents usually try to look at the child and parent relationship in a little bit more of a mature way. So that here's the parent, they're being the parent doing the teaching that they need to. They're not reacting and getting manipulative to the child. That would not be considered super holistic. That would be considered manipulation, right? And they wouldn't want to go down that direction. But they see the child as a person who's becoming an adult. And so they don't baby the child or coddle the child, or at least that's the ideal. I have seen people tell me they're teaching holistic parenting or they're doing holistic parenting, and they absolutely do coddle the child and they don't correct enough. I think if you're truly holistic in your parenting, you have to acknowledge that you only hurt the child if you don't correct the problems. When you see a problem, you help correct it so that they can mature and move forward successfully toward adulthood, which should be the final outcome for good holistic parenting. When I started parenting my own children and I was taking in troubled teens, doing therapeutic treatment care for troubled teens at the time, I told myself, I'm not making perfect children. That's impossible. It actually goes completely against the idea of what the childhood is about. It's not about being perfect. It's about learning. So I decided my goal as a parent was going to be something different, that I instead was going to create joyful adults who knew what their mission in life was and couldn't wait to fight for it, and had solid relationships with God and family. So I wanted principled, confident, family-loving people who knew that they had belonging, bonding, could solve their problems, saw that they had a purpose in life. And that meant that they would talk about that purpose with their family to begin with, and we would help them find the truth that they needed in order to pursue their life's paths. So that's a big thing that I wanted, but I wasn't going to do it by faking perfect children or trying to coddle my child into good behavior. That wasn't going to happen. Now, at the time that I started developing what I was going to be doing for the foster children that came into my home, as well as what I was going to do for my children, I didn't know that there was something called holistic parenting. I didn't know that was even a term, but I guess now people have decided that that's an approach they want to take. It feels good to them to think that they're not about controlling, but instead they're about guiding, teaching, bonding, and understanding relationships and who they are with each other. Well, the teaching self-government approach is perfect for that, so I hope you've already subscribed to this channel, because this is the channel where you are going to find all of the skills and principles that you will need to really nail that holistic parenting. So let's talk about these 5 aspects of holistic parenting and how teaching self-government relates to those. First, we need to talk about what self-government is. That's the foundational principle for everything here on this channel. Self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. So what this means is that you analyze things very completely, and then you make plans, you take steps forward, and then you analyze your progress and decide whether you got closer to the goal or further away from it, and then you adjust as needed. This would include your relationships, this would include understanding, this would include basic things like daily chores or accepting no answers. This would include all of the moments in our life. We examine ourselves, we plan, we move forward. Now for children, that seems like a little bit of a stretch because their prefrontal cortexes are very small. However, children can learn very simply how to make simple analysis such as, is this a calm voice? Is this not a calm voice? They can know the difference between those two things and then choose calmness. So as we break down these bigger moments in life into little teeny details and steps, we can help them move forward with their self-government. And that is the kind of thing that I teach here on this channel. So what about these 5 aspects? The first aspect of a great holistic parenting is to teach personal self-reliance or self-government. Teach the child that they have the responsibility to govern themselves, that it is up to them to choose whether they are going to be calm or not, whether they are going to be happy or not, whether they are going to talk openly or try to control through a power struggle. That is their choice, and it is up to them to choose the best way to do it. Now, of course, you're going to be doing the teaching. You're going to teach them the skills that they need for success so that they have something to choose. It'll be like trial and error. They'll be just trying anything and everything if you don't say, go this direction and you'll find success. So a good parent says, here's the skill you need, go this direction and find success. And then lets the child experiment with it and consistently corrects them so that they can have more time to analyze themselves. Aspect 2 is social training. Parents, you have a responsibility to train your child socially. If you don't train your child socially, someone else will do it, or something else will do it. Maybe a device or a program, pop culture, okay? So either you do it or you turn them over to same age peers or to pop culture. Surely those 2 other options are not great for you. So a great holistic parent says, what does my child need to be socially acceptable and successful? How are they not going to annoy other people? How are they going to communicate with other people and solve problems with other people? So you are going to help them prepare socially. There are a lot of great videos on this channel for social, just so you know. Then there's intellectual. That's aspect number 3. When you are helping your child grow and develop and attach intellectually, that means that you need to have intellectual conversations with your children. Tell them the real words for things. When you're talking about eating, talk to them when they're little about their tongue and their saliva and, those types of things. Talk to them about current events when it's appropriate, when they can process it, but make sure that you are helping them figure out what's going on in the world, see the principles that are around them or the lack thereof, and discuss things deeper with them. This will bring all of their intellectual development into focus. Also, let them struggle just a little bit intellectually. Make the important things fun, like reading should be fun at first, but then later, when you want to learn more and get more out of your reading, then they're going to have to struggle a little bit, okay? Make it fun at first and then let them struggle. That's what you do to help develop a person intellectually. The 4th aspect is spiritual. The whole child means even the spiritual of the child. In fact, for me, that's probably one of the most important things that I teach. If you teach your child about the spiritual, then they're going to find success in all of the other aspects. If they learn that feeling feels like no. That feeling feels like yes. What is right and wrong? What is good and bad? What is true and false? What's morality? What do I think morally about what's going on around me? in society? Those are the types of questions that ground a person. They give a person focus, identity. They're not easily swayed by other people. And oddly enough, contrary to popular opinion, when a person has developed a good spiritual foundation, that usually makes them more open-minded, not closed-minded, because they're able to see everyone on a similar journey instead of just seeing how they can compete and compare with other people for worldly praise. Spirituality, true spirituality, love of God, honoring God, understanding who they are to God. Like I teach my children, they're children of God. That's powerful. Powerful training that holds all of the other teaching together. The fifth and final aspect is emotional. We have a lot of things going on physically and emotionally. I guess we could add physical in there, couldn't we? I didn't even do that. There's your bonus. Number 6 aspect, physical. I would put that probably in the intellectual or the personal oftentimes, but we could make it its own separate. Let's talk about this emotional. What happens if your child does not know how to understand what's going on inside them and they don't know the skills to overcome some of those emotional problems? They don't know how to talk about them. They are going to be in bondage, emotional bondage. So in order to help your child, you need to discuss, what is an emotion? What are emotions that we experience? What are feelings? Those are different than emotions, by the way. In fact, if you want to learn a lot about that, on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com, there's actually a whole training that I did on there called The Value and Mastery of Emotions. I highly recommend going to that training to learn a lot about the differences between feelings, emotions, the role that thoughts play in our emotions. All of those things come together for great emotional intelligence. In fact, that's what that entire training is all about. When you are truly holistically parenting your children, you teach all the things. You keep the whole child in mind. And you don't leave them wild either. I think some people think holistic is wild. You just let whatever happen, happen. No, that's not parenting really. That's lack of parenting. It's ignoring. A good parent teaches in all of the aspects. And I can help with that. So like I just mentioned, there's that training, The Value and Mastery of Emotions. I highly recommend that. You can find that at teachingselfgovernment.com. There's other courses, trainings, books, things that you can use to teach your children, even children's books, to teach your children the skills that they need for self-government and for whole life success. I'll see you there.